right, and we are live. Welcome everybody to Lubbock Compact Live. We are here with some. First of all, sorry, I'm your host Adam Hernandez here with my co-host Josh Shankles, and we have some awesome guests in here with us today. And we have Jeanette, Sarah, and Jack, all with the Sustainable Food Center, and we'll be talking about some really cool things that they have going on, what that's all about, and just a great conversation today, I think. And so, ladies, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and right about this time, I'll kick it over to you, Josh, and we can go ahead and kick off this interview. Real quick before we start the interview, sorry, Josh, don't forget, you can put your questions down in the comments. I am watching the comments, so if you have those, please put them down there. We will see them and have these good folks answer them for you. So, sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No, as always, you read my mind. Hi, everybody. Glad you could join us. For those at home, these are all good friends of ours, so we're excited about this conversation. Sarah, Jack, Jeanette, why don't y'all start by introducing yourselves to our audience? You can take it in any order. We're seeing left to right, starting with Sarah, so if that makes any difference.
We'll start in the middle and then whatever. Sorry. Hi, my name is Jack. I use she and they pronouns. I'm a Lubbock native that went to school at University of Houston and came back a couple of years ago after serving 3 years of AmeriCorps Business Service. So I have a background in public service and was really excited to see Sustainable Food Center doing work at home when I came back. I did a term with Feeding Texas that got me introduced with the work that they were doing in Austin with equity and food access. And I met them at the Roots Booker T. Washington Garden. So it was really cool to be able to do food access work at home and engage the community.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Jeanette Castañon / Barrett. I just got married and I haven't legally changed it, but so that's me. I'm from El Paso, Texas, kind of a little far from home. I went to school in New Mexico, got my bachelor's degree in agriculture, then decided to move back to Texas. My parents at the time were working in Midland, so I moved out there. As soon as I got my job out there, they got transferred to Dallas, but I met my now husband there on a dating app. And so I got my first job with AgriLife Extension Service. I was the horticulture agent. I got to grow a lot out there and I loved it, but just kind of was doing a bit of a long distance relationship. So had to kind of find a new job after that. Lived in Denver City, Texas for about a year. So kind of got to experience a little bit of like the food insecurity / food deserts out in this region of Texas. So kind of got me starting to think about food access and education. And so when I found Sustainable Food Center, when we were looking to move to Lubbock, it just really stood out to me. One of the main reasons was I grew up on food stamps and, WIC. And so I know the importance of all these programs. And so it feels like a full circle moment that I'm able to kind of give back to the community. And Lubbock is a great community and I'm happy to be helping here, just to be here.
Did you all say your job titles or not?
No. Job titles. I am the West Texas Food Access Coordinator.
And I'm the Happy Kitchen Coordinator for West Texas.
Thanks, guys. So my name is Sarah Castro. I am the West Texas Program Manager. So I'm able to work with all of the programs that SFC offers and has offered for the past, SFC has been around for about 50 years in the Central Texas area, but all of the current programs that and teams that are in Central Texas is my goal to eventually have them all accessible here in the West Texas area with Lubbock as our main hub. I am not a Lubbock native. I grew up on the East Coast in New England and in the tri-state area, and lived in California. I lived there for about 16 years, and then California for another about 10, and then I've been here, and I'm not going to say how long because then you'll know exactly my age, but no, so I've been here in Lubbock for about 10 years, and I started school at SF State, San Francisco State University. I finished at UMass Amherst with a bachelor's in health and sustainable food systems. It took me a really long time. I had 2 boys during that process, and worked a variety of jobs, which all kept leading me to wanting to work with food and helping to bring knowledge and access to people who are experiencing health issues and who are experiencing hunger due to, I think, what I see as a system that needs healing. And so that is how I ended up at Sustainable Food Center. Right before this, I was working as a SNAP Ed nutrition educator at the South Plains Food Bank, and also running a small cottage food business at the farmers markets. And during that time, I became very connected with a lot of the growers in the area and a lot of the farmers markets. And I just felt so driven to be a part of that. And so I feel so grateful every day that I get to work with the people I love to work with, and with such a passionate team that we're building here. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for having us.
No, that's a really good introduction. We're very people first people, so we want to know who we're talking to. Why don't you guys get right into the Sustainable Food Center, what your organization does? Give us kind of an overview of what it looks like and your programming from a high level.
Okay. Yeah. Jeanette, why don't you tell them what our mission is?
Yeah, so SFC's mission is to transform the food system, nourish our health, land, and livelihood. So that's kind of our main goal as an organization. We're trying to bring that to West Texas.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way that we see all of the work that we do is it's all connected. I think from the viewpoint of our organization, you can't just give people access to food without then also acknowledging the issues with our local food systems. You can't give people, you can't try to bring nutritious fresh fruits and vegetables to the tables families that are struggling with food insecurity without often also providing education, nutrition education, and community, like and bringing people together in that way. And I think that's so working with farmers, working with we have our main organization, Home, offers supply and value chain assistance to farmers across Central Texas and now West Texas. We're moving into that here. We also have a food access team that works with a SNAP and WIC. And not only that, like we are always looking for opportunities and ways to help to fill in gaps and connect more families with local fresh food. And then we have our nutrition education program, which is called the Happy Kitchen, La Cocina Alegre. And then that has been around for, Jack, how long?
25 years.
Yeah, they've been running 25 years in the Austin area. Yeah. And it's just such a beautiful program. I'm really excited. This is just starting right now, and I'm going to let Jack kind of talk about that.
Yeah. So the Happy Kitchen, La Cocina Alegre, you'll see it abbreviated as THK. It's a program that's been around in 25 years. We're expanding throughout Central Texas. A couple of applications like in Brownfield in the Uvalde area, and in Lubbock. I'm spearheading that expansion. We are a 6-week free peer facilitated cooking class that's rooted in nutrition education. So ensuring that people have the knowledge and skills to be able to go purchase fruits and vegetables or any produce that may be existing in the local community and have access to, and be able to prepare that food without having to waste money, having food go in the trash, because as having a bonus kiddo who's 6 years old and has a really hard time eating most of the time, it's really hard when you're food insecure to be able to risk calorically dense food. So like potato chips, sandwiches, things that you can make ready fast with maybe broccoli or asparagus that you don't know how to make your kiddo like. And with our cookbook and the knowledge that of 25 years of cooking with people in the community, we have created a cookbook. It's on its 5th edition now, that conglomerates recipes from like Latino, Mexican American heritage, as well as some Italian, some Asian influenced, to make food more accessible. And we do that by hosting these 6-week classes. People meet once a week for an hour and a half and learn about a topic, whether it be protein or whole grains, how to why it's important to eat these specific things nutritious wise, and how to do it affordably. And then at the end, or throughout really, there is a cooking demo where the educator and the cook together and show how to prepare the meal. And then at the end, we have a probatida, a little taste. So everyone goes home with an understanding of what it tastes like, and they go home with free groceries to make that meal at home. And for the 6 weeks, they have conversations on how each meal was received, and really building a rapport within the group of people that are signed up there, between 12 people and 25 in the community. And a lot of the times people go at the end of the last class where we have a potluck, really don't want to leave the space. They want to continue on participating with the new friends that they made, and most importantly with like, how do we find third spaces to continue this work? And so in the 6th class, we talk about community gardens and where to really continue doing community building work, whether it's becoming a peer facilitator or going in and learning how to really build more community if they know a place that would be a good setting for that.
Hold on, like, no, you guys are giving us so much great information, but I want to take a second to like dig down a little bit here and add some meaning to all of this. So, you know, folks that have watched the show for a long time, you guys there know me. I used to be a farmer. And so I was a producer, and this gave me a view on our food system that I didn't previously have, right? And so I think just at a fundamental and overview level, it's important to know that in America, we have a time not that long ago, less than 100 years ago, where people literally could starve to death in America. They could have a bad turn on their family farm, in their community, whatever, a factory could close, and people would literally starve. And so we started making changes in our food system in America in a big way to stave this off and produce enough calories. And that led to the rise of what's commonly known as big agriculture. And so we produce calories, especially in the form of grains, at a huge scale. Also proteins, fiber in our region particularly, which isn't an edible foodstuff, but nonetheless a agricultural good that is needed in modernity. And over the course of maybe 50, 60 years, we made it so that America produces so many calories in sugars, particularly, that it's very hard to starve to death in America anymore. But it also became increasingly difficult to have the right type of nutrition to keep people healthy. And we also saw consolidation of localized food production and a whole bunch of other downside effects to this thing that we solved one problem and created a whole bunch of others. And so now a lot of the work in the space of agriculture and food production, particularly the work that you guys are doing, is about stepping into that space and trying to intervene on these downside of effects of what we have created as a big food system. Am I characterizing that right? At like a really big level?
Yeah, absolutely. When I worked with Feeding Texas, which is the network partner nonprofit, there we go, that connects all the food banks in Texas. The VISTA program, when we were framing projects to implement into communities framed, we were building programs to get on the upstream effects, to fix the upstream effects that cause the downstream effects, so like food diseases, and really not being able to access good healthy food,
Or
but
diet-related diseases.
diet-related diseases. And one of the things that you touched based on is there's a disconnect on how we learn about food and can access food, that the Happy Kitchen is trying to bridge through like culturally relevant food, the food that makes sense in our diets, and demystifying diet trends like organic and healthy, and really getting to the root of why it doesn't have to be affordable to eat well. And we do that by having like lunch, dinner time conversations, and centering the people who are making the food and asking them, what do they like? And then connecting them with other programs like WIC voucher. These classes can count as a WIC credit. So if you get WIC as a woman or a person who has kiddos, you have to attend a certain amount of classes to maintain that credit. And our class can be one of those places. And we also work to work to get other people connected with food access more generally. And
Adam?
Yeah, that was a perfect segue there, because I did have a question about food access in our city. I know a lot of times we put forth these ideas kind of trying to illustrate disparities here in our city, and a lot of folks may look at that and they may be from a different part of the city or something, and they may say, well, I don't think we have food insecurity here. But could y'all talk a little bit about how big of an issue is this in Lubbock? Like kind of what are the numbers that we're seeing? What is the overall big picture about food insecurity here in Lubbock?
I don't think that we don't have statistics for you right now, but what I do want to say is that we work with a coalition called the South Plains Hunger Solutions Coalition, which is a group of community members and organizations that come together to make sure that we are all on the same page as we all work to fight hunger in different ways. And the thing that is difficult when it comes to let's say the situation that you described, somebody saying, well, I don't see anybody starving, right? And so the way that hunger looks now is different than the way that hunger looked in the time that Josh was describing earlier. You're not going to see an emaciated, I mean, it's, like very like outwardly looking hungry person and say, oh, they need food. it shows up in children, especially in ways that you won't know unless you know how to look for it. Children, one of the more obvious ones in schools, you'll see kids who are, taking food and putting it in their pocket for later. They want to save it for later to make, because they know they're going to be hungry later. They know when they get home from school at dinner time, there might not be something for them. So they're taking some from their lunch and letting it stretch. It's sleepiness, irritability, inability to focus. A lot of things that are really stem from hunger, teachers see as behavior issues, or even look at as possible abuse at home, and so it's really important to have that education for our educators and the people who work in our school systems, to be able to recognize what hunger looks like now. And hunger also shows up as nutrition deficiency. We're lacking nutrients, as Josh said earlier, not necessarily calories. Yeah. And very often people can become they can become they can be walking around with an unhealthy amount of weight on their body, but also not have nearly enough nutrition to even have the energy to try to exercise and do the things that people are suggesting to them constantly, right? So I don't know, that's not all clinical. This is stuff that I've, so don't, I'm just offering my experience and from what I've seen and learned in the community.
The numbers that we have for our programs, that's.
And I feel like this connects, something that's relevant is we also, in reframing our mission, we help to provide a system that takes care of create happy families, healthy families, and happy farmers. And our programs help to support that by ensuring that our producers have funding to survive, and really encouragement to, if we are transitioning from heavy fiber that isn't necessarily healthy for the land in the way that we are doing it, which is a very hard conversation to say and very simplistic. But we are making sure that there are ways for producers to produce more edible plants.
Yeah, no, I mean that was a great answer, and we may not have statistics, but I volunteer at OL Slayton Middle School with communities and schools, and one of the things that the communities and schools coordinators often do, and definitely do at OL Slayton, is they'll have waters and snacks there in their room, and the kids know that at any time they can just go in there and ask for something and get it. And our kind of thought process behind that, without asking them anything or giving them any grief about it, is we don't know if that's going to be the only time that kid eats after they leave school or what have you. And so I just really wanted to illustrate to people that, again, just because you don't see this as an issue maybe in your community or in the immediate people that again, it's very hard to spot, but it is a big issue, I believe, with a lot of families struggling to not only keep the proper amount of food in the house, but also, like you say, healthy food in the house. And I guess that's a good spot to, I guess, kind of pivot here, because you all do have some community partners that you work with, and so I'd like to kind of hear a little bit about all the various community partners that you guys work with. What does that look like? Anybody can answer.
Yeah, I just real fast just want to one last comment on what you were saying, and we can, I promise we can move on, but I wanted to just mention something that I think is really vital to understand, is that this is the hunger is something that people feel shame about, right? So it's not something that your neighbor is not going to tell you if they can't feed their family necessarily. Very often they won't. People are embarrassed because they see it as something that is their fault, that they can't afford, or they can't they don't have enough money to provide the food that they need, or that their children need, or that maybe their older parent that they're taking care of needs. there's a lot of shame around it, and there's a lot of shame around asking for help. And even asking and receiving help that is provided by our government that exists for that. So that is another thing that we are working with our programs to try to try to help people to feel welcome at our local farmers markets and places that we offer our programs, to make sure that they're not othered, that they're not like singled out, and that this is a community event, and that when the local movement started coming back, and I don't know, there still is there's this idea that the farmers market is for people who have money, who can afford it, and it's not a place for me, or it's not a place for somebody who has many mouths to feed, because it's not going to be affordable. And I, just like Jeanette, I have my lived experience I was a young mother living in a very expensive state, without my education and without really the ability to I didn't have family to help me take care of my child. So we were trying to live off of one income in one of the most expensive cities in the country. And then even moved out of there to try to survive. And the only way I was able to feed my 2-year-old was on SNAP benefits. And I remember thinking, like, I just wish I could go and buy vegetables at the farmer's market. And so if we had that available to me at the time, I know that it would have really meant a lot. Okay.
If you had the double up food bucks program.
And that's what, yeah. But,
yeah. So as the West Texas Food Access Coordinator, I've gotten to take on those 2 food access programs that help connect people on food stamps and WIC, have that opportunity to get these fresh fruits and vegetables and straight from the local source. And kind of like how Jack was saying is, we're getting the producers, the farmers, we're getting that money into their hands. We're keeping the money here locally, which is awesome. But yeah, so we have the Double Up Food Bucks program. That one is where we partner with the SNAP, kind of partner with them. So the markets get SNAP certified. And what the participant does is they're automatically qualified for Double Up Food Bucks if they have SNAP, they've got their Lone Star card. They walk up to an info booth, either at the Lubbock Downtown Farmers Market or the Wolford Farmers Market. We are also in a
Plainview and Tulia, the
Plainview and
Farmers
Tulia,
Market.
yes, that's the Mid Plains Market. And Juicy Lucy, she's now in Idalou. I think people used to go to her mobile van, but now she's at Idalou Harvest in Idalou. So
and that's 6 days a week.
And so we really like that market because she is open 6 days a week as opposed to just weekends.
And you can see where the food is growing. You can look across,
on property. So the Double Up Food Bucks program is where we step in, and you can take your SNAP card. Like I said, go to the booth, they swipe your card, kind of like an ATM. They say how much you want to get off your card. So say I want to take $40 off my card, they're going to hand me these small little SNAP dollars. We have one up here for the Lubbock market, but they're different at each market. And then we're going to come in and we're going to match up to $30 each day at that market that you go to. So the only stipulation is those green dollars that we're giving you.
The match part.
The match, yes, the green Double Up match. You can only use those for fresh fruits and vegetables, and they have to be local. And the SNAP, you can buy anything that you're SNAP eligible for. So, your kids want cookies at the market, you can use your SNAP dollars to get them that. And so it kind of, like Sarah was saying, it makes it like a fun experience for everyone involved, And so we actually you were kind of asking about statistics on that. And I guess this could kind of get you a little bit of numbers on that. So since January, we've given vendors in payments $5,651 in just Double Up. So that's not even like what they've received in SNAP. And participants have withdrawn or received $7,431 in those Double Up incentives. And so that's getting us at a 76% redemption rate. So, we're giving them, they're probably holding, sometimes people will hold on to those for when there's more fresh fruits and vegetables. So that's why we're not at like a higher rate.
But more generally, that is really high for this program.
Yeah, for the Double Up program. And so the cool thing about the Double Up program is that that one runs all year long. So people can go get money off their SNAP card, get those $30 Double Up. I need to.
So was that 7,000? That was 7,000 in
Just
SNAP.
Double Up. No,
Double.
just Double Up.
Okay. All right.
That's
Sorry.
incredible.
Just
And
You have one.
Okay.
yeah, no, that's such incredible rates. And I think, you know, it's good to note here that, like, excuse me, like things like the school lunch program
Mhm.
are in fact a farm subsidy. It's a way to take $1 and spend it twice by appropriating it to school lunches so that schools can then buy agricultural products, so that farmers' work is subsidized, because farmers' work is very risky. And we have to eat, so we want to make sure to support that system.
Mhm.
And something like the Double Up Food Bucks program, in fact, does exactly the same thing. It takes $1 that we already want to spend and spends it twice to both feed people and support a localized food system
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
oftentimes has a lot more difficulty tapping into that kind of support system that we universally acknowledge is really important for all of us to be able to eat all of the time. And
Mhm.
so that's really incredible work, and I'm so glad to see it being taken up in such a way by the community, that they're able to access this, and that we're in fact getting, you know, double our money at a pretty good rate out of a single investment. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I want to mention also how, I mean, so we say that Double Up is we have 3 wins, right? We have the food access part, so people are able to access and bring home more fruits and vegetables that they would have otherwise. Number 2 is that we're supporting our local farmers, and our local food system is growing. And the local food system in Lubbock, just in the past 10 or 15 years, I've seen it come back to life, right? So there's that. And then the third is that it helps to build local economies. If you think about where SNAP dollars are typically spent at, like, big box stores, and that money is leaving our country. It's federal dollars that are coming to families to feed their families, and that money leaves the United States then very often. I mean, if you think about where most of our meat comes from, it's, you know, sadly, mostly not going to local ranchers.
Yeah.
So we are actually, you know, people can spend their SNAP dollars and buy meat from a rancher in Canyon, or in Amarillo, or in Lubbock, in the Lubbock area.
Truly. And like, here's another thing about that local meat, or that local bag. If you go to a store and buy a bag of salad,
Yeah.
Oh, it's old.
then it's probably turned into mush within a couple of days, and that month, and it's probably not that nutritionally valuable either. And so that money that you spent on it, the investment that you made in this food, largely goes to waste.
Right.
Whereas when you purchase it hyper local, then you're getting more nutritional value out of it, and it lasts longer in your fridge, and you in fact get more value out of that. And so some of the ways that we like add up value in our own heads, whether we're using food assistance programs or just purchasing it ourselves, are kind of screwed up by the way our food system is built, where we don't value things properly. And so that maybe more expensive bag of salad at the farmer's market has much more value and is much easier to use and extract the value from than that cheaper bag of salad at a big box
Which
store.
we only got to use a quarter of.
Exactly.
I bought salad from what was your farm before that I found like a month or 2 later, and I was like, how is this still good?
Right,
Like,
right.
what is this?
At that point is when you're picking it up at the grocery store. It's been in the bag for like 2 months.
Or a month. Yeah. And I feel like also hitting on the lack of understanding of value. with the looping back to the Happy Kitchen, I think it's a really cool place where you're bringing in people. And as an organizer, like, we talk about how you don't expect a person to come to a meeting without food. So we are bringing people in, having conversations on how to cook, learning from people, how to cook a different way. A lot of our facilitators, peers themselves, learn skills from the people who are attending our classes. So it's a equal trade-off. And we are potentially having more lively, like, community centers, for example. Like, our first 2 classes are at the Patterson Library and at the Lubbock Dream Center. So bringing people into spaces that are really important for our social infrastructure, being able to feed them and ensure that we are feeding our community as well. A lot of, like, social determinants of health. We're part of the City of Lubbock Health Department's social determinants of health committee, and they talk about how it's just as important to have healthy food and connections with your neighbor, or having a relationship. Loneliness is probably one of the biggest factors of getting late stage early dementia. Like, if you're lonely, it's as powerful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So feeding the soul and the body is really important.
Yeah, people come together around food.
Yeah.
And and it's one of those things that really, I feel like that's why it's so important. Like, if you have like the Zen diagram, a Venn diagram, like, it's like food, it can be in the center of everything. And so I don't know, Jeanette, did you want to talk about the FMNP program really fast, so that way we can
Really fast. Last
and then I
program.
have and I have one more thing to mention that I've missed that I wanted to talk about right after that.
Yeah, so we're getting a little bit closer to the end of the FMNP season with FMNP, which is the Farmers Market Nutrition Program that's funded through the Texas Department of Agriculture, but we are a contracting entity of that. And what it is if you are a WIC participant, you receive WIC, you can go one time a season, which is pretty much just once a year, and receive a booklet of vouchers that are worth $30. And like I said, kind of like the double up program, you can only purchase fresh fruits and vegetables with those vouchers. And since that one's seasonal, and so if it's a mom who's postpartum, she can receive the $30. And say she's got 2 children that are under 5 years old, that's $90 right there that she can pick up in money for groceries for the summer, which is amazing. And like I said, those same partners as before, Juicy Lucy out in Idalou, the Wolford Farmers Market, the Lubbock Downtown Farmers Market, and the Mid Plains Market. Those are all our locations where people can go get their vouchers
and use them.
And so those were my other numbers that we're really excited about. We have issued, so people have picked up their vouchers, and
since June, right?
Starting in June.
Yeah.
So this is since June. It's $15,660, and farmers have received them as payment, and then they submit them to us and we reimburse them, and we've totaled up the reimbursements and we're at $14,884.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's over 7 producers.
50% redemption rate this
And
year,
that's 95%.
and that's a 95%. Wow,
and that's over 7 producers.
Wow,
So that's 7 farmers.
7 farmers in
that are
our
getting
area,
some
not
money.
just in our area, that have received that. Yeah, wow.
So yeah, it's getting fresh fruits and vegetables to people who need it.
And we started that program last year. I took over it. I took over that program last year when I was still just me doing it. And that right there shows me the value and power of a team. Because I think last year, we had a 49% redemption rate, which is really good. It was really more so that we were giving out more vouchers than it was the way that we were doing it. I think we gave out a ton of vouchers. We didn't get but we still got about $14,000 back last year, or distributed back out to the farmers last year, which was really good. But that,
I think it also helps, kind of like Sarah was saying, we now have a location that's open 6 days a week, so it's kind of that accessibility as well.
And having good
And
partners.
promotion, you
well, and
know,
we were doing WIC
partners.
distribution. We were doing voucher distribution at the WIC clinics
Yes.
where they couldn't immediately spend them.
Yes, and the
So that
WIC,
we've learned that didn't work.
and the WIC clinics got, you know, we worked
Yeah.
directly with the WIC clinics and they gave us direct feedback and we're like, that didn't work, that confused people.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, we
We said, okay, we won't
We
do
said,
that
okay.
anymore.
Now it's
So that's
working.
the
It's
value of
paying.
listening to
Yes.
your community partners, yeah.
paid off.
Yeah, no, that's incredible how much that you guys are moving through and supporting a system that we're all counting on. Sarah, you said you wanted to add one other thing, or did you get to
Yes,
that?
it's just a little bit about about SFC, the organization as a whole, and I said that we had food access, farm viability, and supply chain or value chain at work, and then we have our education, nutrition education programs, and I failed to mention our policy and advocacy team and our policy and advocacy work, which is like it was just really important. And I wanted to mention, oh no, I can't say it, never mind. Well, we had been, yeah, there's exciting news about work that we were doing to get funding for the Double Up Food Bucks program that is related to policy and advocacy that I don't think I'm allowed to announce right now, but we will keep you, we'll let you know when we can.
Well,
was like,
Adam,
no.
Adam, get back in here. I'm sure you've got something else you want to bring up, or
No, I was actually just gonna get to the part where we ask how do people take advantage of this? How do they connect with you all? And also, once you answer that, how do others support this work? Because this is such important work. We've already heard about how you all are essentially stimulating our agricultural economy, helping out with food insecurity, helping people get nutritious meals. This is hugely important work. So how can people both support it, and then also how can people take advantage of it or connect with you all?
For sure. So with the Happy Kitchen, if you know a location that can hold 20 people or up to 25 people, we bring the kitchen to a place. As long as they have the functioning sink, we can have a Happy Kitchen series anywhere that has good community involvement. So the Patterson Library one is full. So we are looking for at least one more class, hopefully at the Y. But if anyone has any places, you can either drop them in the comments or send me an email. I will put my email in the comment section at the end.
Just follow us on Facebook. I forgot what our name is now.
Well, so you can find us on Facebook at the Sustainable Food Center has a Facebook page, but that is a kind of mix of Central Texas and our work, mostly Central Texas still, but you can find us at Double Up West Texas and then it'll also say Sustainable Food Center West Texas as our sub name. But yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram, and share our programs with people who you think can benefit from them. I think that, and if you are a community partner who encounters people often that you think can benefit from our programs, please get in touch with us. We have plenty of materials that you can give out to the people you encounter and work with. And also, if you are interested in donating to the Sustainable Food Center, we are fully a grant and we're fully grant and philanthropic. Yeah, we get in donation based. So everything, our salaries, everything we're doing, all of the money that we pay out to farmers for the free produce that they're giving away, all of that comes from grants, which are mostly match grants. So our full funding for Double Up Food Bucks is a 50% match grant. So we need to be able to access community funders in this area to help us grow and be able to continue these programs. I the other thing that is really, really important not to forget to mention, we are working on a statewide Double Up Food Bucks project and have been for several years. And we work with community partners and program partners across the state to offer toolkits and information about how and toolkits and support, and even we work to build them into the grants that we get from the USDA for these programs. And we are, so Double Up is all across the state, and we work in grocery stores as well. It's something that we often forget, because I am very, very farmers market focused, but so I often forget to mention, we are actually at the United on Parkway Drive. And the match is different there. It's up to $5 for every dollar that you spend on fruits and vegetables at that United. You will get $5 put into your rewards account, which then you can spend on more fruits and vegetables at your next trip. They do expire just like your rewards, so it's a little bit of a different program. And then we're also at the United in Brownfield, yes. And we're hoping to get into more stores. We were in some other grocery stores in the area, but due to technical issues on their end, we had to stop. But we do, I'll tell you, at the grocery stores, we do over $200,000 a year in just in incentives at 2 grocery stores. So it's a lot, and that means a lot of extra fresh produce going to families who may not have purchased them otherwise, and that then they can spend the $5 that's still on their SNAP card on something else that they need. So yeah.
Well, and people can find you guys at the farmers markets that you mentioned to redeem their benefits and otherwise connect with you guys, right?
Sometimes, yes. So at many of the farmers markets, we're not actually physically there. We have our farmers market partners that we've trained to run the programs.
Oh, okay.
At Lubbock downtown farmers markets, you can often find our we have a part-time seasonal associate right now. His name is Matthew, and so you'll see him at a table that says food access right next to the market info booth, and you can ask him about Sustainable Food Center. You can go there to get your vouchers. You can go there to get your Double Up Food Bucks and your SNAP dollars, and you can go there to just have a chat with him. He's a really, really fun guy and really nice. And yeah, so yeah, we are often there, and we often do recipe samplings at that market and at Wolfworth Farmers Market, and at different community events where we like to make food for people and let them see what it's like to we try almost every time to make sure we're offering samples of recipes that include local produce. Yes.
Yeah, you guys were at all the pop-up markets for the Booker T. Washington Garden, which has already come up. Friends of the show, partners of ours, other community gardens around this is another area of work that I know you guys invest in. This is something close to the show. We worked on public policy for community gardens. There's really, we could do several hours talking about this. There's so much to dig into, so much edifying work. It's really tremendous. Adam, anything you want to add to that?
No, I just really just want to, express appreciation for what you all do. I mean, it's, again, just such a huge need, not only in our city, but really across the state, honestly, and across the country. But I'm just so glad that we have something like this here for people to take advantage of. I would urge people to take advantage of this program. You would really be surprised at what the quality of food can do, how it can change things in your life. And you just really don't understand, right? If you're used to a certain diet, or you just kind of go and reach for the easiest, cheapest thing all the time.
You've never eaten a fresh garden tomato or a bell pepper, you'll never go to a grocery store.
Yeah, it's just it's a huge difference. But anyway, just wanted to express appreciation for you guys, and yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're so right. If you've never had a fresh from the garden tomato, then you haven't lived and you haven't realized what you're missing. Yeah, no, really, truly, thank you for your work. All of you are so tremendous. This is filling a gap in our community. And I can tell that, as long as I've known y'all, I've seen tremendous growth here, and it's so wonderful to see. I thank you for what you guys are bringing to our community.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, we're pretty much at an hour now, so great show, great conversation. Thank y'all again, and anybody out there, take advantage of this. Jack, you said you'll be sharing the information down in the comments, so go under the comments of this video, share this video far and wide. And yeah, we'll definitely would love to have you all on again for an update at some point.
Come back.
Okay. Oh, if you go to the farmer's market and you want fresh produce, get there early.
Yeah.
It will be
No
gone
better
by
advice.
12. It will be gone by 11 sometimes. Yeah. Thank you
Great.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great show. Thanks, everyone. Y'all be well.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.